That's a very interesting question, Mike, and one that I've not had before. I guess the first thing I would do is I would want to sit down with folks and ask exactly what the problem is. To my understanding, with the DEQ and the permitting processes that we have, especially with respect to air and water quality, I would think that for the most part we've got those problems being addressed. I think if there's individual case-by-case problems, that I'm not sure if that's something necessarily the legislature should be dealing with. So I guess I would at first say that between the land use laws that we have and our current permitting requirements for both water and air quality, if that's not working, then I guess I'd like to know more about that and what's not working.
I think large-scale agribusiness with the use of herbicides and fertilizers is always a problem. I noticed that when I lived in California. My wife used to teach at a rural school, and by the time they get done putting the fertilizer on, then they put the herbicide on, then they put the defoliant on to get the cotton all off, and poor kids were gagging on that pollution all day long. I think what we could do is try to develop a medium-sized food industry where we have more organic farming, maybe more truck farms, and produce markets. This would create a lot of employment in this area. We wouldn't be so relying on these imported fruits and vegetables, which we find a lot of times are not properly inspected and actually destroy our health by the amount of pollutants they have in them. This would be one way to develop small-scale agriculture in Central Oregon. Smaller farms, organic farms, truck farms, so we could have fresh produce. I remember as a kid going to truck farms and buying stuff alongside the road. I think we could encourage more of that. It would be great. You might have to do it in with co-ops so that people could buy the type of equipment they need to do the farming and to store some of the food. A cooperative basis would allow some type of family farming, which is quickly disappearing. So that would be some type of innovative and creative approach to that agricultural problem of herbicides and fertilizers and pollution.
Well, I think it's clear from the report that came out this summer describing the amount of pollutants that are in our water supply already, that what we've got now in terms of restrictions on pollutants being used by these big agricultural industries, those restrictions are not tight enough. I remember reading a study this summer that talked about the number of different chemicals that were found in our local waterways. And it was really surprising, even knowing that we have this problem to begin with, it was surprising to see the number of chemicals that were listed there in the study. One of the main chemicals that they did find was the one that was in Erin Brockovich. There was and I don't remember the name of the chemical, but I don't remember what it was. It was something terrible, but I do remember seeing that there were really high concentrations of that in our local waterways, and that's definitely concerning. We need to really look at big agribusiness, how they're using different fertilizers, and we need to make sure that we are protecting our waterways. One of the ways that we don't do that is by putting in people in the legislature who are being given huge contributions from companies like this. Like my opponent, who's received substantial contributions from cattle and developers and agricultural and nursery packs throughout her campaign.
Well, you obviously have a tension here between the economic aspects of agriculture and the environmental, potentially pollutant aspects of agriculture. So I think what it takes, again, sort of keying off of what Maren has said, people who can be a little more independently minded in this regard. I have a great respect for people involved in the agriculture business, but I'm not going to I'm not going to be their lackey in the legislature. They need to do good work, and they need to do the things to sustain their economic base, but also to be good stewards of the land if they want to continue to have that land there. That being said, I think we can encourage things like continued research and development. We have a preeminent university in this state in the agricultural area, and that's Oregon State University. I think there are some incentives we can provide there for research and development. We can do things like provide something similar to the Betsy for some of the dairy farms that we have that produce significant amounts of methane gas to incentivize them to turn that into a source of renewable energy. I mean, there's a lot of innovation available out there, and I think we need to promote that.